1. Week number 11 of the high school football season. I'm Zack D, and this is Chris Boyle. Hard to believe that we are going on our 11th and final regular season show of the week. Don't worry, though. Plenty of playoff action next week to get to. But
they just can't get enough of us.
Nope. Yeah, exactly. It's like the blooper reels. We should release a blooper reel at the end of the year.
Boy, you don't.
Not if we want to keep our jobs, we don't. Anyway.
You do not want to do that.
It would all just be bleeped out. It'll just be censored. A lot of good games this week, though, and a lot of games that are going to decide who is playing next week. While teams like Mainland and kind of FBC and DeLand have pretty much already punched their tickets. New Smyrna Beach, one of the teams that has to win and get a little bit of help to continue playing. They have Spruce Creek this week in easily the biggest game of Friday night.
Right. So here's the easiest way that, looking at the math, the easiest way for New Smyrna to get in would be to defeat Spruce Creek. If Martin County can defeat Jensen Beach, and if Edison loses to South Dade, that would affect Norland's schedule in a negative way, and it would give just enough of a gap between New Smyrna and anybody that can catch them for them to get in. That should be the way it works out if the math is all up to date, and who knows.
Did you do the math?
I did. I tried to do it and give an idea of what it would look like.
I'll see what that UCF degree is good for, I guess.
It certainly wasn't a math degree, but they
certainly not good enough for the rankings. I know that. Go Gators!
But they have to take care of business first. This will be a really good showcase for running backs. You've got Marvin Scott, who just went over 1,000 yards last week, as did Enaj Carter, who matched the all-time single-season program record for touchdowns with 22.
Yeah, he was all right last week. Wish I had him on my fantasy team. Wish you had him because you lost last week. I know that.
Did I?
You took Spruce Creek in this game, so apparently you don't believe New Smyrna is going to the playoffs.
I believe that Spruce Creek is finishing the year a little stronger. You look at the way they've played against Mandarin. You look at the way they came out, way they came out and handled business against University. Their offense, but their two best players in Marvin Scott on the offensive side of the ball, Marvin Scott and Hayden Flood have really gotten it into a new gear here as the season's worn down. It's going to be tough for New Smyrna to track down those two guys, I think. And on the back end, Deshari Keith had his 4th interception of the season for Spruce Creek's defense. They're going to need to come down and hit Enaj Carter in the box. It's going to be a physical game, I think. It could go either way, but I do like the way Spruce Creek is finishing the season.
That game is Friday night. Game Thursday night or tonight, if I can upload this video quick enough and you can see it tonight, is Atlantic and Father Lopez. And Atlantic, a bit of a skid right now. Father Lopez playing some good football. Lopez pretty much another playoff lock next week. Atlantic needs to win this game, and I believe they also need some help to get in.
They need a big chain reaction of things. Their path to the playoffs, they could have helped themselves the last 2 weeks, realistically. The games against Mount Dora and Holy Trinity, their offense has been hampered by injuries, particularly at the skill positions. With Zamari Davis out, with Guyvan Williams out, so they've kind of had to do some patchwork. And it really kind of showed last week when Aaron Manning only had 5 completions for 15 yards and 2 interceptions. So it's kind of caught up here at the end of the year for them offensively. For them to get into the playoffs, they're going to need to win tonight against Father Lopez, which would count as a big number of points for them.
No kidding.
Would also need. Let me see. It was Oasis. A couple of their opponents would need to lose. Lake Highland Prep, I don't think really matters into this scenario, but they really have to have a chain reaction of things to happen. And a couple of teams on their schedule they would like to see win would be Bell tomorrow night against Warner Christian and Taylor tomorrow night against Keystone Heights. Those two teams could really help Atlantic get a few extra points.
I feel like Atlantic's that team that in the week 17 of the NFL season is 7-9, and they show the laundry list of things they need to happen.
Yeah.
It's usually the Colts or somebody.
Yeah, they need about...
Or the Dolphins.
7 or 8. They really need about 6 or 7 results to happen in the right order for them to sneak into the playoffs. Because they begin the week 9th. Lake Highland can't catch them in terms of max point total, so they're not a factor if everything breaks well, but it's the other two teams in front of them that they're going to have to worry about.
Daytona and Childs. Daytona and Childs from Tallahassee, is that right?
Yep.
That's a long trip, my goodness.
Yeah, this is a return trip, too. Daytona went up there last year. Child's head coach is Kevin Pettis, who led DeLand to a state championship appearance.
He doesn't need his GPS to get here. He knows where he's going.
This is the backyard for them. Daytona coming off of a nice win, 28-21 over Matanzas. Now all 4 of those games head-to-head have ended in a touchdown or less as far as the deficit's concerned. Daytona, we've talked about them a few times this year. They really have played a good, as well as you could hope. All 4 of their losses are to the top 4 teams in our Fab 5. You look at DeLand, Mainland, New Smyrna Beach, and Flagler Palm Coast, and realistically, they were in all of those games. There wasn't a game in which they went out there and didn't look like they belonged on the field. And Childs, an equally strong schedule, losses to teams like Godby and a few other teams up in the Panhandle, Wakulla, a ranked team in 5A. This is going to be a couple of teams that have really gone through big battle-tested kind of paths to get here. And you never know. I mean, Daytona would need a lot to go right, too. They sit in 14th going into the standings. I don't think there's a way they can get in based on the math, but every little bit can help here. And it would be a good win and certainly a good thing for their underclassmen to go into the offseason with.
Quickly, DeLand and Seabreeze. DeLand coming off just a brutal loss, which we weren't there, but it looked like that game was over pretty much from the start against Sandalwood. Cost them a shot at a district title, and then Seabreeze was largely non-competitive against Mainland.
Yeah, and DeLand lost more than just the game. Their quarterback, Leon, rolls out for the rest of the year with a broken bone in his foot. Avante Williams had an arm injury. It doesn't look like he's going to go tomorrow night. He wasn't at practice on Tuesday. From what it sounds like, they're going to hold him out even if he is ready to go. There wasn't a break from what he told me, but it remains to be seen. The good news is the rest of their guys seem to be in fairly good order. Deontay Marks practiced, Damaris Bellamy practiced this week. They just want to get through this game and find out where they're going. It looks like they're going to draw the 6th seed. They'll either go to Mandarin and get a rematch against the Mustangs, a game they almost won earlier this year.
They would like that very much.
Or they will go to Winter Park. It looks like it's going to be one of those 2 situations for DeLand. For Seabreeze, just kind of finishing it out here, looking to get some sort of school pride, and I don't necessarily think that they're looking at the upset here. I mean, it would be great for them if they were able to stun the world. But I do think they're going to be motivated to play Jaden Urschel, who played for them last year.
He'll be playing every snap now.
Yeah, he'll be the starting quarterback and going forward. So I do think their defense is going to be motivated to make something happen.
You are going to be at Father Lopez Atlantic tonight. You are going to be at New Smyrna Spruce Creek tomorrow. You are making me drive to Daytona, even though I live right down this road from Spruce Creek. Whatever, though. No problem hanging out with Daytona, although I do wish that the press box has a little bit nicer. Although I think it's going to be cool tomorrow night, so maybe it won't be a sweat box like it usually is.
This is such an understatement of how bitter you are right now about having to go there.
I'm being reserved. And it's got nothing to do with Daytona. It's got to do with geographically where I am. But whatever. Week 11, playoffs are right around the corner. Zack, Dean, Chris Boyle, we'll see you tomorrow.